Got to give the people. Get it, people. What they want. It's Bass. I'm back, but I missed singing the song. Miss Reese did it so well that I thought I had to step my game up. And I did. So now, you might probably want to pause it right here because you want to write all this down. We're talking about equations, tables, and graphs, and the connections between the three of them. So you want to get this down. Ms. Reese did the connections between the table and the graph. I'm bringing in the equation. That's right. So, how are these three things related? Well, I can move from an equation to a table. Okay? And I'm actually going to write this down. Actually, I'll write it down in a second, okay? But let's look at this. All I really want to do is I can just start choosing values. I can pick anything I want. And I usually, for your purposes, I'm going to pick a value that I use for x, all right? And I like to pick simple values because when I plug something in for x, an input, I will get something out from y, the output. And we'll talk much more about that this year. So in this equation, it says y equals negative 2x plus 4. So you know what? In my table, I'm going to say, okay, here's my x and here's my y. I want x to equal 1. I like 1 because 1's a nice, simple number. So I'm going to plug 1 in for x. So watch this. Negative 2. In place of x, I'm putting a 1 plus 4. Once I plug 1 in for x, it's going to tell me what y is. So let's go ahead and figure this out. Actually, a question's probably going to pop up. It's probably going to say, what is y? Okay? So you're figuring it out. You just answered it. Hopefully you just did this. You said, well, negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 4 equals y. So y then equals whatever negative 2 plus 4 is, which is 2. So notice what I just figured out. I figured out that when x equals 1, I substituted 1 in for x, and I figured it all out. Y equaled 2. So I can now put that into my equation. So hey, x equals 1, y equals 2. Pretty easy, okay? Now, I need to figure out some more points for this table. So I'm going to make them up. Again, I can pick any numbers in the world that I want. I tend to try to choose easy numbers. You know what another really, really easy number is? 0. So I'm going to use that. All right? So let's go ahead and substitute now. But now x is not going to be 1. X is going to be 0. Go ahead and find y for me. Hopefully you just did that because you just had to answer a question. And you found out that y equals, well, negative 2 times 0 is 0. And 0 plus 4 is 4. So now you know when x is 0, y equals 4. So from this equation, I made this table says that x is 0, y equals 4. But I need more points. So I'm going to find something new. So next time, I like to use negatives sometimes. So now I'm going to go negative 1. Again, simple numbers I'm picking. All right? So now, in place of x, I'm going to put negative 1. Once x is negative 1, you figure out for me what the y value should be. You just did it. Now I'm going to do it. So y equals negative 2 times 1, which is negative 2, plus 4. Y equals negative 2 plus 4 is positive 2. All right? So here's another question that's just going to pop up. What are my x and y values that go in this table? Hopefully, you just said x is 1, because notice, there's x, we substituted with 1, and y is 2. Okay? We're going to find one more point. This time, hopefully you're continuing to rewrite them, you're not erasing them. This time we're going to say, I don't know, we'll go with y, or x is 3. Let's go here. y equals -2. This time I want to know, what is y going to be when x is 3? So when x is 3 in this equation, y becomes what? Well, you just did it and you said, okay, that is -6 plus 4, that is -2, right? So you just found 3, -2. We won't fill out the rest of this. But hopefully you can see how we went from equation to table. Remember, I picked the values. Then to go from table to graph, you already know how to do. That's what we did in class Thursday or Friday, depending on what class you are in. So now I'm just going to graph these points, and I'm going to make a line. Should they make a line with them, or should they just keep them as distinct points? I guess it should be a line. It's coming from this equation. Okay? So I'm going to go to the point 1, 2. Here's x is 1, y is 2. I graphed it. Graph that one. 0, 4. X is 0, y is 4. I graphed it. 1, 2. X is 1. Oh, something just went drastically wrong. Didn't it?
You just have more than bigger.
Oh, I did 1, 2 twice?
Yeah. Just for fun. Make one of them negative.
1, 2. X is 1, y is 2. That's the same point we just did. I don't know how I did that. You have to rewind and find out what happened. And then finally 3, -2. X is 3, 1, 2, 3, y is -2. Notice how these points all end up in a line. It's kind of how I know it's right. If I already got a random point up here, that's wrong. That's right away telling me, that's not what it should look like. It should kind of come down in a straight line. Okay? Went from equation to table to graph, right? I'm even going to put these in here, so you should do this. So this was 0, 4. This was the ever so popular 1, 2. And this one was 3, -2. All those points are on this table. All those points were generated from this equation. Okay? So hopefully you see the connections between the three. Go ahead and erase this. So let's put a star. It's going to say to generate ordered pairs. In other words, points from an equation. So to generate those ordered pairs of points from an equation, what you want to do is choose a x value and solve for y. That's typically what you're going to see. And notice, you get to choose. You can choose whatever numbers you want. I like to keep it simple, but you could have chose 50 for x if you wanted to. I don't know why you would want to do that, but you could. Okay? So to generate ordered pairs or points from an equation, you choose an x and solve for y. Okay? I really think that's the one thing that you have to remember. Another point I'll say is try to choose simple numbers. That will give you simple, instead of numbers, I'm going to say inputs or x values. We're going to be talking about that a lot. Choose simple numbers, inputs, values of x. That will give you simple numbers, outputs, or y values. All those things are synonyms, and you're going to see a lot of them later on this semester. Okay? I think that's all we're going to have you do today. Anything else big you need them to see, Miss Reese? besides your beautiful face?
Hi! He did a great job today. I don't have anything to add.
Thanks, Miss Reese. Quick one. Have a good day. That's all I got. I'm out.